Hello, BookTube. This is New Additions to My Library Part 2. So it's been a little while, about a week. That was intentional so that everybody could see the first one and that was interested. And then I would catch up with the other new editions. Now, I really haven't gotten any books since. And you can see why. There's a lot. There's a reason I had to divide it in two. So this was intended, the first part was mostly single volumes, things like that. I did have one book drop down into a box that I missed that should have been in part one, so I'll start off with that. And it's trade paperback, The Periodic Table by Primo Levi. Always intended to get to this. I have not. Who is this? This is Shocking Books out of New York, a publisher with a great list. So, yeah, happy to find that. So I'll start with one of the smallest. I actually posted this on my Instagram page, and there it is. The little teeny thing of hymns. And if you can't read that, I don't know how it'll come out. I think it's 1833. I'm not going to get my glasses to go check. I'll hold it up to the screen and you can see if it focuses. I don't even know if it'll focus well. And they're little hymns, little Methodist hymns. So, problem is, where do you put this? Number one, how did it survive, right? A little thing like this had fallen down in a box when I found it. And how many of these must have been made that didn't survive because they would be prone to disappearing. So let's go a little different in the size directions of the volumes. So this thing's a little dirty. It's not really tattered so much as it's dirty. I'll have to try to figure out how to clean it. This is Linweave limited editions, and they did work for the limited editions book club and others, and this is sort of almost like a portfolio for them. So let's see here. This came out in 1934 out of Springfield, Mass. And the books they're doing a perspective on is Summer Is a Comin' In by John of Forncett. The Act of Charity by Mr. Yorick, Lawrence Stern. King of Babylon by William Ernest Henley. The Yarn of the Nancy Bell by W.S. Gilbert. A City of Wonder by Lorne Dunsany. Sea Fever by John Masefield. A Duel to the Death by Charles DeCoster. Barnes by Christopher Morley. And In the Hanging Gardens by Conrad Aiken. Envoy by James Whitcomb Riley. So what they would do, this is, let me see if I can show. They have a big description of what they do, but I'm not going to read through that. But I'm going to give you some examples. So let me get to where the art is. So they do have quite a bit of, well, see here, it's the typography. So they're trying to show that. So let's see here. So it's a good size thing. Let me get some of the artwork for you because they're going to show that too. So this is beautiful. Here, let's try. So this, the Lawrence Stern one. The artwork. Let's see if you can see that. Hopefully you can. So when you get to these, so they're folded. The sheets are folded, see? And they're together at the top. That's, oh, here's another beautiful piece. Let's see if I get you Sea Fever. There you go. So happy to have this for my books on book collection. So I probably went into that a little too much in depth. I apologize. Another oversized thing. I've always wanted this. This used to be very common. In fact, I think it came in a slipcase, but it would never survive. This book is really big and heavy. Very common when you went to used book sales or used bookstores, because these things sold like hotcakes. And this is a Conrad Argosy, introduced by William McPhee, and it's Doubleday Duran. It's basically a huge selection of Joseph Conrad's fiction with woodcuts. I'll hold up the table of contents for you. You can always just pause the video and make sure you get a good view of it. And just randomly turn in here, give you an idea. So the double columned in a big giant collection. So I was happy to have this. I've always wanted it. And then the doozy. This one provides a tactical challenge. I've always wanted this. I've had it before, and this one's damaged. So here's the box. Some of you are going to know immediately what it is. And in the top of the box, I actually like this in the full set without it being miniaturized. Here, let me get this. I need to, so you got a magnifying glass. And there's a reason for that. Like I said, some of you already figured out what this is. But it has a break here. So I'm going to get some bookseller's tape, try to fix it. Inside here, you have these plastic things. And those plastic things are so you can slide out of the box these. And they're massive. And this is the Oxford English Dictionary, the famous Oxford English Dictionary. And there's a reason for the magnifying glass. So this is volume A through O. Where do you put that, right? And this is P through Z with supplement and bibliography. So those of you who are Tolkien fans, Tolkien worked on these. They usually take up a huge shelf. And I do use them. I have a set on my desk at work, but I wanted a set for the house. And I took this set, but I'm going to have to get some book repair tape. It's got fabric in it. It's fabric constructed. I'm not saying that right, but you get my point. So that I'll be able to fix the box and store them properly. They're huge things, but I'm thrilled to have them. Next, I think I'll do this. Mostly when I get Library of America, I get the black dust jackets, which I really like. But I do have a mix. I have quite a collection. These I had an opportunity to get, so I took them. And these are these slip-cased fabric ones without the black dust jacket. So this one here is Mark Twain, Mississippi Writings. So they come with the little ribbon bookmarker. These are the end papers on all of them. So included in Mississippi Writings is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Life on the Mississippi, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and Pudd'nhead Wilson. So we got that one. Let's see, which one is this one? Oh, yeah, this one I'm actually pretty pleased about. And this is Jack London, novels and stories. That's how they're saying it. So this has Call of the Wild, White Fang, The Sea Wolf, which is one of my favorite, and short stories. So let's see what we got for short stories here. So I'd have to go to page 773. So they've got just All Gold Canyon, The Apostate, South of the Slot, The Shinago, A Piece of Steak. Anything famous here other than that? Yeah, I'll just hold up the list. So some of those I would not have read, or if I read them so long ago I don't remember them. Let's make sure I get this in the right order on these two. So then I've got Lincoln, Speeches and Writing, 1832 to 1858. And then same thing, but from 1859 to 1865. Very nice to have. And then finally here, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Essays and Lectures. Let's see. You got Nature, Addresses and Lectures, Essays, First and Second Series, Representative Men, English Traits, and the Conduct of Life. So, good stuff to have. Most of which I've read, but I do go back to. So this next part is the challenge. How do you do this, do justice to this set of 21 volumes? I think it's 20 volumes. Something I've been looking for a long time. So you'll see above me there, that's the entire collection of the great books. The argument about whether they'd be, the list would be the same now or somebody done it, that's fun. But they are what they are, so I do have those. I do not have the Harvard Classics 5-foot shelf thing. I used to have the red set. When I moved, I got rid of it. Because they're easy to find. Problem is, as time goes on, and as I go on, they're less easy to find for a reasonable price. But I will get them. Again, would you choose the same stuff now as they did at the turn of the last century? Maybe not, but they're still wonderful to have. But this is the Harvard Classics, and this is the shelf of fiction. So they realized that because they were doing all of history in a way, that they had a huge gap. 19th century fiction is primarily what it was, but earlier stuff and later stuff. So I found a set. So like I say, I'll have to get the other set too, but I was pleased. I've never actually had this set before. So these are what they look like. They're blue, really flexible. See, this has to be cleaned. You see, I can clean it with my finger now. These were probably in a box forever. They don't have the gold here. They just need it up here for the dust. And it works. That may be a little gross, but you can see. So that's one of the advantages if if your publisher did that. But they flex. These are what the end papers look like. Probably can't see it, but it's a little cityscape, it seems to be. A little churchscape. So, this is, has a little onion skin paper here to protect bleeding from the image. So this is A History of Tom Jones, A Foundling, Volume 1 by Henry Fielding. And I'll give you an idea of the type. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. And then Volume 2 of the series is also Volume 2 of Henry Fielding. Volume 3 is Lawrence Sterne and Jane Austen. Jane Austen is the volume I just finished reading, which was Pride and Prejudice. So for the Lawrence Sterne, it's a sentimental journey through France and Italy. Pride and Prejudice for Jane Austen. There's the image. Volume 4 is Sir Walter Scott. Here's the image there. Could have a castle, right? Sir Walter Scott. It's Guy Mannering, which I have not read. I've read Sir Walter Scott before, but I've never read this particular one. Excuse me. Then Volume 5 is Volume 1 of Thackeray, and this is Vanity Fair, which I believe there's going to be a read-along on BookTube of coming up here pretty soon. I may be wrong about that, but I think so. And then there's volume 2 of it. Volume 7 is Charles Dickens. And it's David Copperfield. Again, the onion skin there sort of blocking your view, but there's the title. Obviously, the second volume, which is volume 8, is more David Copperfield. Volume 9 is George Eliot. And this is The Mill and the Floss. Volume 10 is Hawthorne, Irving, Poe, Bret Harte, Mark Twain, and Hale. So, here's a bunch of Americans. So let's see if I can turn the doggone pages. Yeah, and they title this American Fiction. So I have Hawthorne. So you have Scarlet Letter, Rappaccini's Daughter. For Washington Irving, you have Rip Van Winkle, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Edgar Allan Poe. You have The Fall of House of Usher, The Purloined Letter. I'm only saying a few of these. There's more in each one. Francis Bret Harte. You have Luck of the Roaring Camp, Outcasts of Poker Flat. Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain. You have the Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County. I have copies of all these things in other volumes, but I don't have Edward Everett Hale's really famous book, The Man Without a Country, which I love. And this will be where I go to find that. Let's see, volume 11 out of the series is Henry James Jr., or Henry James. And this is a Portrait of a Lady. Volume 12, we're getting there, folks, is Victor Hugo. A piece of dust on it. I'm going to have to dust all these down. Just took them out of a box just now. Is it Notre Dame de Paris? Or, let's see. Is that more than one volume? No, this is all in one volume. Then we have, this one has Balzac, Sand, de Musset, Daudet, and de Maupassant. How's that, all that French stuff? Yeah. I don't say it like that when I'm reading it in my head. So what do we got for French fiction here? Balzac, we've got Old Goroit. I never know how to say that, so have fun laughing at my expense. That happens often. George Sand, we have The Devil's Pool. Let's see, Musset, who I have never read, The Story of White Blackbird. Daudet, we have The Siege of Berlin and a bunch of other stuff. And Maupassant, we have Two Friends, The Cripple, Walter Schnapp's Adventure. I don't know any of this. So, well, I know some of the earlier stuff, but I don't know the later part of the book. Yeah, always put yourself on BookTube and try to pronounce things that are outside your wheelhouse. This is Goethe. Excuse me, the dust is getting to me on these. I really need to clean these. Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship, which surprised nobody. That's what this is. And then volume 15 is Goethe, Keller, Storm, and Fontaine. See what they're calling this volume. German fiction, obviously. So Sorrow's Young Werther by Goethe. Keller is The Banner of the Upright Seven. Theodore Storm is the rider on the White Horse. That's correct. Fontaine is Trials and Tribulations. Almost there, folks. Tolstoy, Volume 1 of it. Well, out of 16, but the first Tolstoy volume is Anna Karenina. Who did the? Is this like Constance Garnett or somebody? I'm trying to see who the translator is. Yeah, Constance Garnett, which is pretty typical. So there's Volume 2 of that. Go on the inside to show you that. Volume 18, so we're getting to the end here, is Dostoevsky. And this is Crime and Punishment. Again, Garnett translating. Next to last volume, number 19, is Turgenev. And this is A House of Gentlefolk and Father and Children. So Turgenev. Then the last volume is, okay, I'm going to do this on, this is volume 20. So Pepita Jimenez by Juan Valera. A Happy Boy by Bjornsbjørn Bjornsson. And Skipper Worse by Alexander L. Kyland. I probably destroyed those, but actually probably pretty close, I hope. Let me show you the... So this is the... Again, I don't know. Most of them, I guess, you'd still pick for this type of a collection. But not entirely. But I'm glad to have it. There's some things in here I don't know. This whole last volume, I've never read any of them. Other volumes I've read in different translations. And then there's gaps. So it'll be good for me to have resources. Like I say, I believe, I may be wrong here, but I believe there is a Vanity Fair read-along. I commit to no read-alongs anymore except for sag-along. So, yeah, just because I can't keep up with them. But anyway, that's the part 2. Thank you for your patience with it, especially that last part here. It's sort of weird to go through a set like that, but no other way I can think of to do it. And a set I'm actually glad to have. So thank you, BookTube, and we will be seeing you soon.